What's up, everyone? You know what time it is. Seth Floyd Show coming at you live from my bedroom here in Texas. Thankfully, I remembered the fan this time, so it's not too hot right now, though I am wearing a sweatshirt. More just because I felt like I was in the mood to rep some Longhorn football. By the way, finally got access to NCAA 25. Mind-blowing. Best football game I've ever played. Honestly, if I was not married or I didn't have three kids running around the house, I would be playing it 24/7. I would take breaks to sleep and to eat, and that's about it. Okay, would consider quitting my job probably. That's how fun it's been playing that game. My flag's coming off. So yeah, incredible. So I just felt like, look, I needed to rep UT, and it's been a good time. We are getting closer to the college season, which is exciting, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. Okay, we are talking about something pretty bold tonight. One of my bolder takes, I feel like, but the more I've thought about it, the more I've talked myself into it and truly believe it, okay? Before we get there, please like the video, okay? Subscribe to my channel. Please make my dream come true of just getting to make content, talking about football, creating videos, and just get to live a really cool life doing that full time. But that's okay. We're going to get there eventually. And tonight, we're going to get one step closer. We are talking tonight about how the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to win the AFC West in 2024.
You serious?
And I know who is. I wonder if you can take a guess. Any of you who know me personally, you know how I feel about Jim Harbaugh, okay? Jim Harbaugh used to coach for the San Francisco 49ers, okay? He saved me in a very dark time in my life, a dark period of San Francisco 49er football. The time after Steve Young was gone and Terrell Owens had left the team, and we had Jeff Garcia, who actually, he was okay. He was good. He took us to the playoffs in 2002. But after that, we went Tim Rattay to Ken Dorsey to a lot of randoms, okay? We had some coaching turnover, okay? Some coaches that were incapable. And then along comes Jim Harbaugh and takes this team to the promised land. We didn't finish it, okay? But he took us to 3 straight NFC championships out of nowhere after a 9-year playoff drought. If you can't tell where I'm going with this, I'm about to tell you tonight why the Los Angeles Chargers are going to win the AFC West in 2024. It sounds crazy on the surface, okay? It really does. The Chiefs are an all-time dynasty, like in my eyes already. Like even if they fell off this year and never got back to another Super Bowl, which is ludicrous, okay? I don't know if they'll get back to the Super Bowl this year, but they're going back. If Andy Reid's there and Patrick Mahomes are there, they're going back. There's no doubt about that. Eventually, at some point, okay? But I can see this year them slipping up. It doesn't mean they're going to miss the playoffs. And when we talk about the AFC West, we are just talking about the regular season, okay? So let's talk about a few things. First, I'll go back to Harbaugh, okay? I'm going to outline some of these things, why I think the Chargers are going to be better this year. The bar was set pretty low last year. And then I'm going to get into why I think the Chiefs are vulnerable, okay? First, Harbaugh's a winner, okay? Look at how much I wrote down, by the way, guys. Bam. Bam. We went double-sided tonight. That's how strongly I feel about this take, okay? We went double-sided, all right? Harbaugh's a winner. Everywhere he goes, he wins. Everywhere, okay? The places he's coached right now, up to this point in his career, University of San Diego, an FCS school. Then he went to Stanford. Then he went to the 49ers. Then he went to Michigan. And now he is back in the NFL coaching the Chargers at the University of San Diego, okay, FCS school, small little school, okay. His final 2 years there, I think he coached 4 years there. His final 2, both years, they went 11-1 or 12-1 and won back-to-back conference championships there, okay. Bam. Then he moves to Stanford. If you're about my age, you were in the sweet spot with Harbaugh at Stanford. Okay, you were probably like late high school. I graduated in 2010. You were late high school, and Stanford was good with Harbaugh there. Okay, his final season there, they went 12-1 and won the Orange Bowl, which was a BCS bowl. Okay, incredible. Okay, at one point in his first season, they weren't real good. They finished 5-7. That was in 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. I think it was 2007. They were 41-point underdogs to USC and upset USC, upset Pete Carroll and the Trojans, and that's where a lot of that beef started. Love that beef that they had between each other, by the way. Upsets USC. Now, they weren't great that year, but you could see it coming. You could see guys starting to believe, okay? And then his final year, 2010, and then they win the bowl game. January 2011, they went 12-1, okay? Gets to San Francisco, okay? First year, they haven't been to the playoffs in 9 years. I touched on this a little bit before. First year, they go 13-3. 13-3, make the conference championship game, and if Kyle Williams does not let that stupid punt bounce and hit him in the leg in overtime, the Niners were going to win that game and go to the Super Bowl and play the Patriots. Instead, the Giants win, and Eli Manning beats Tom Brady once again, okay? But then they went back the next year, got to the Super Bowl. Yes, everybody, I'm aware that he lost, okay? I know he lost, but we got back, got to the Super Bowl. Heartbreak of a game against the most destiny team I've ever seen in my life. Team of destiny. The 9-7 Ravens, Joe Flacco, has the best stretch of his career was in the playoffs. Good for him. Okay, Ray Lewis goes out on top. We all know the story. Okay, the next year they go back to the NFC Championship game, and that's the Michael Crabtree, Richard Sherman game. Heartbreaker. That's one of the most painful losses in my career as a fan of the 49ers. That one was tough. Okay. But Harbaugh knows what it takes. I want to point out, too, that first year, they went 13-3. He had Alex Smith as his quarterback. Alex Smith, guys, he's the self-proclaimed captain of the game managers, okay? But they went 13-3. And guess what? The next few years with Colin Kaepernick, they were, I lost my train of thought. With Colin Kaepernick, he made him look like an all-pro. He made him look like top of the league, like a top 5 quarterback, okay? Now, in that final year, he wasn't as good. The Niners went 8-8. The team as a whole wasn't as good. But when Harbaugh left, it really came off the rails. Now, to be fair, they had a couple of very incompetent coaches after Harbaugh left, okay? You had Jim Tomsula and Chip Kelly, so the situation wasn't great for Kaepernick. But look at the years with Harbaugh. Kaepernick was balling. He was one of the best. And that is a testament to Jim Harbaugh's ability to create a culture and build his team on a foundation that it works and is proven, okay? And that foundation is we're going to play hard-nosed football on all 3 phases of the game. You watch Harbaugh teams, and they hit you in the mouth. It's really fun to watch. It's old school football. Hit you in the freaking mouth, okay? You can rely on the run game, and your quarterback you're not going to rely on your quarterback to take over necessarily, but he's going to do enough to win the game. We've seen J.J. McCarthy. That's what he did with Colin Kaepernick, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? That's important. And then lastly, he gets Michigan. We know what happened in Michigan. Wins, beats Ohio State 3 years in a row. I think it's 3 in a row. And then finally wins the Natty, okay? Finally wins the Natty, and now he's back. The reason I brought up the quarterbacks, okay, is Justin Herbert is the best quarterback he's ever had. I think, right? Like he had a couple years of Andrew Luck in college, and Luck was great. He wasn't there for Luck's final season. Luck was really good. I imagine he was better in the NFL than he was at Stanford. If you guys want to check me on that, then fine. At the worst, Herbert is the second best quarterback he's ever had as far as talent-wise, okay? Herbert can do it all. Herbert, in my opinion, has been a product of some of the most incapable coaching you've ever seen, okay? With Anthony Lynn, with Brandon Staley, the Chargers are the classic underachievers. They've been that way for a while. So I don't play all of it on him. It's hard to see, but whatever Herbert really is, you're going to find out, okay? No, he's probably not going to throw the ball 40 times a game. It's not going to look like Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, but he is going to be efficient. His defense is going to get the ball back for him. Okay, the offense isn't constantly going to be put in bad spots. They're not going to be playing from behind. Okay, the run game is going to be effective. It's going to be hard-nosed, hitch-in-the-mouth run game, and it's going to take a lot of pressure off Justin Herbert, and he's going to have one of his better seasons. Maybe not statistically. He's probably not going to have 40 touchdowns, but he's going to be efficient, and he's going to make the right plays in the big moments because Harbaugh he's just the man. I don't know how to explain it. He's just the man. Here's a story I'll tell you. Okay, I played football with a kid in high school. Maybe you've heard of him, Eric Magnuson. Okay, if you're a Michigan fan, you definitely know who he is. Okay, Eric Magnuson, when I was a senior in high school, I was playing running back at La Costa Canyon High School in San Diego, California. Eric Magnuson was a sophomore starting at left tackle. Okay, and that's a big deal on that team. We were 10-0. We were a really good team. We had won the championship my junior year, and in 2010, we were really good. Finished 10-0 before blowing it in the playoffs. Eric Magnuson starts as a sophomore and ends up finishing his high school career years after I graduate and goes on a full scholarship to Michigan to play tackle. He's there before Harbaugh's there. And gosh, I should have checked. Is it Brady Hoke that was there? Or no, Rich Rodriguez before Harbaugh? Whoever was there, it was one of those guys right before Harbaugh gets there. And everything I'd heard, I haven't talked to Mags in a while, but I have friends that still hang out with him when he comes back into town. And they've all, we were talking about him, he was saying before Harbaugh got there, he was really burnt out on football. Before he got there, he was ready for his senior year to be done. He was ready to just kind of reach the end so he could move on with his life, enter the workforce, all that. He said once Harbaugh got there, he had this rejuvenated love for football because Harbaugh brings that out in guys. He does. You can see a lot of people talking about it. They talk about how he's crazy. They talk about how he's like a madman when it comes to football, but it's because he loves football. And you generally emulate and take on the personality of your coach. That's a classic thing. Your team overall is going to kind of be whatever your head coach is, okay? And Harbaugh is a fanatic football fan. He's a borderline crazy. He is just everything you want when it comes to building culture. Okay, and that's 100% what I expect him to do for the Chargers. Okay, now the question marks about the Chargers. Yes, they just traded away Keenan Allen. Yes, they let Mike Williams walk. They are real thin at receiver. I don't believe in Quentin Johnston. Not really. Okay, you're hoping Ladd McConkey does something. So there's some question marks there. But Harbaugh's not going to lean on the pass game. He's going to lean on the run game and kind of figure out the rest with receivers. Okay, I'm not worried because I think they're going to play tough enough defense and they're going to run the ball really well. And I trust Justin Herbert with that combination. Justin Herbert not having to throw the ball 40 times a game to mediocre receivers, but having him throw 20 to 25 times a game and make the right plays and play off of play action. That's a Justin Herbert that I think is going to be scary. Okay. They've invested in the offensive line. Okay, Joe Alt, fantastic pick. He's going to be great. Okay, that's a great pick for them. And defensively, they're great. Defensively, they're going to be really good. When I say they're great, I mean on paper, they have a lot of talent. Okay, I'm thinking of Joey Bosa. Okay, and oh my gosh, Khalil Mack. Golly, man, losing my mind. Can't remember names. They made sure they restructured those two, made sure they're staying, okay, because he believes in defense, okay? The other thing about the Chargers, okay, is they get to play a last place schedule, which is going to be huge. The division is still terrible, okay? The Raiders are not going to be good. I don't care who you are. Sorry, Jarrett Dunlap, if you're watching this video, the Raiders are not going to be good, okay? They're just not. And I'll tell you why. Their quarterback situation, okay? I don't believe in Gardner Minshew. I don't even know if he's going to start. I don't believe in Aiden O'Connell. Okay. I don't believe in Zamir White, your starting running back. I don't believe in, you've got disgruntled Devontae Adams. I know Antonio Pierce is helping out with that situation. He's very well liked in that locker room, and that's great. The Raiders are not going to be good. The Broncos, I think, will be better than the Raiders, but they're not going to be good because Bo Nix as a starting quarterback this year, man, that looks like a recipe for disaster. Now, they should start Jarrett Stidham. That's what I would do. And maybe Jarrett Stidham is lightning in a bottle and we just don't know. He had a fantastic game against the 49ers when he started a couple years ago in 2022. in week 17 or something. He got the start, and the Niners and Raiders went to overtime, and Niners ended up winning the game, but Jarrett Stidham lit up that defense. So maybe if he steps up, but man, I don't think I'm a huge Bo Nix believer. I'll just leave it at that. Not this year anyway, not as a rookie, okay? Those two teams are not going to be very good. So you've got the Chargers and the Chiefs that are going to battle at the top. I don't want to call the Chargers a heavyweight yet, but they're going to battle at the top. So weak division really opens up the door for the Chargers, especially because they get to play a last place schedule. So the non-division teams they're playing last place schedule. Plus they get to play 2 games against the Broncos, 2 games against the Raiders, which they very well could go 4-0 in those games. Guys, the Harbaugh effect is going to be real. They're going to come in and they're going to hit those teams in the mouth. They're going to be tougher than those teams. They will be tougher and they will hit them in the mouth. I'm not saying they'll go 4-0, not saying they will, but I'd imagine they go 3-1, 2-2 at the worst against those teams, probably 3-1 or 4-0. That's honestly how I feel. Now let's take a look at the Chiefs real quick, okay? The Chiefs went 11-6 this year, and the division was as bad as it could be. It was terrible. That division was terrible. They even dropped a couple division games, but they were terrible, okay? And they only went 11-6. But Seth, they won the Super Bowl. I understand that, guys. I understand that. And they hit a different level. They come to play when it matters most. Andy Reid is as good as they come. Patrick Mahomes is as good as they come. Okay? But in the regular season, which that is what decides the division, okay, they went 11-6. If Jim Harbaugh had been the head coach of the Chargers in 2023, I truly believe the Chargers would have won the division. Okay? 11-6. I'm not saying they would have gone 14-3 or 15-2 and won the division, but they could have gone 11-6 and won a tiebreaker with the Chiefs. Like, that's how divisions are decided a lot of the time. And so I do feel like there's a real chance it's going to happen this year. Now, it's hard to see that the Chiefs would underachieve in the regular season back-to-back years. But what did they do to get better this offseason? I mean, truly. So you're looking at the receivers were the problem last year. That was the biggest problem. All the drops, we get it, okay? They were not able to throw the ball as well. And the reason they had success in the playoffs is they stopped throwing the ball so much. They started leaning on Isaiah Pacheco more, okay? And that's what got them through the playoffs, in my opinion, and great defense, okay? Offensively, though, what did they do to get better to fix the receiver problem? Well, they signed Hollywood Brown, who, fine, he didn't make the Cardinals better. The Cardinals were kind of an issue, but he didn't make them better, okay? It's hard to be shaken in my boots because of Hollywood Brown, but maybe he makes them a little better. Rashee Rice is gone. Their one receiver who started to come on at the end. He's going to be gone, guys, for half a season, it feels like, maybe more. Like, I've read some stuff on CBS that says, yeah, the Chiefs are bracing for like a half a season suspension. Again, the Chiefs could go on to win the Super Bowl, but Rashee Rice, who's like a guy, you're kind of your go-to guy outside of Travis Kelce last year, he's going to be gone half the season. I mean, come on. And then when he comes back, who knows what he's going to look like? I'm just saying, like, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, they drafted Xavier Worthy. I'm a Texas fan. Look at me, okay? You guys know I'm a Texas fan. I'm not just a Chiefs hater. I'm a Texas fan. But I can't be like, oh, well, they got Xavier Worthy, like, they're going to be good. That's what everyone was doing with the Eagles last year. The Eagles had this amazing draft where they drafted a bunch of Georgia kids, and I remember everyone, especially here in the Dallas area, was really nervous and really scared. I was like, guys, you're nervous about this because of a bunch of rookies. Now, they might be great in year 2, year 3, but to expect these like rookies to come in and just like all of a sudden be impact players, like, it happens, but I'm not counting on it. They got to do it before I accept that, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying Xavier Worthy fixed the receiver problems, because you just don't know. He's really light. Like, maybe he just gets bullied. Maybe he gets bullied around, and you just don't know. You don't know. So that's not like a lock, like they got better there. I'd also say, like, people are gonna come at me. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. Whoa. Make me puke. But I know Kelce was a huge part of their playoff run, and they won the Super Bowl. I get it. But Kelce through the year looked like he'd been losing a step. He showed up in the playoffs. Okay, he showed up in the playoffs, and that was great. But Kelce looked At times, he looked like he was having trouble getting going. And then eventually they'd scheme him open and he'd be able to do things. But guys, he's only getting older. Like he's kind of, I don't want to call him old, but he's past kind of what you would consider the prime of his career. And I think he'd tell you that. I think he would tell you that. Maybe he comes out just rejuvenated. Like, I don't know, maybe. But Father Time is undefeated, so I imagine there's probably another step lost. Like, he'll probably still be a Pro Bowler. People vote him an All-Pro, probably. But I'm just saying, like, we saw signs of it last year. Like, logic tells me that he's probably going to lose another step this year, potentially. Okay, so that cause for concern. I just want to compare their schedules real quick. I just did let's look at their first 6 games. Okay, first 6 games. The Chargers, their first 6 games this season. They play the Raiders. It's a dub. They play the Panthers. That's a dub. They play the Steelers. Now, this is in Pittsburgh. But if you think I'm scared of Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, you're wrong. They have some talent on both sides of the ball. But at the end of the day, like, looking at the quarterbacks, Mike Tomlin he's a historic coach, but man, have they played some uninspired football, it feels like, these last couple of years. So I'm going to count that as a dub. It's not a guarantee. When you are the 5th overall pick the next season, you're never guaranteed. But the way I'm looking at it, like, that's probably a win. Now, week 4, they play the Chiefs, and we get to really put this to the test. Are the Chargers really legit? Now, I don't know if they're going to win that game. I don't know. Obviously, if I had to put money on it right now, I'd probably put money on the Chiefs. But they're going to play them tough, and they're going to hit people in the mouth. That's what Harbaugh brings from his teams, okay? So let's say they lose that one. They would be 3-1 at that point. The next week, week 5, the Broncos. That's probably a dub. I'm thinking that's a win because I don't believe in Bo Nix. Maybe Bo Nix comes out of Jared Stidham balls, but I'm not putting my faith in that. They have not been a good team, even with Sean Payton there. There's been signs of life, but they've not been good. Not good, okay? They've shown flashes, but not a team you can really rely on, okay? If they win that one, they're 4-1. And then week 6, they get the Cardinals, which, again, the Cardinals showed signs of life. But I'm rolling with my man Harbaugh in this situation. That would put them at 5-1 through 6 weeks, okay? Maybe they drop one of the Broncos or Cardinals and they're 4-2, but still really good. Chiefs schedule. Now, the Chiefs are better, so I get it, but just look at their first 6 weeks, okay? You've got Ravens week 1. Not a guarantee. Bengals week 2. Not a guarantee. Not with a healthy Joe Burrow. You've got the Falcons week 3. Did I say Bengals week 3? They're week 2. They're not week 3. They're week 2. The Falcons are week 3. Now, Falcons with Kirk Cousins and a coach that is going to use Bijan Robinson how he was meant to be used. Like, the Falcons are going to win that division, guys. Maybe the Bucks sneak in and do something, but Raheem Morris is a good coach, and now they have a good quarterback. It's usually very simple to know which NFL teams are going to be good. It's a team that has a quarterback, a capable quarterback. Teams that aren't searching for the answer at quarterback, they usually are the better teams. Teams with competent head coaches. Okay, Raheem Morris, he's been a great defensive coordinator. People are really high on him to be this head coach now. I think he's going to be all right. They've got weapons. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. They've got weapons. They're going to be good. I'm not saying that the Falcons are going to beat the Chiefs, but it's not an easy out. Week 4, they get the Chargers. Okay. Again, if I had to put money on it, I'd probably pick the Chiefs, but it's not going to be easy because obviously this whole video is about how high I am on the Chargers and Harbaugh. The Saints, that's a roll. They're gonna beat them. Okay, unless Clint Kubiak, who's the new offensive coordinator for the Saints, can get Derek Carr rolling, the Saints are gonna be bad. Okay, Dennis Allen is not a good head coach. He's proved it when they were in Oakland. Okay, now Las Vegas. He's proven it now. Derek Carr looked terrible last year. He was bad. Okay, now Clint Kubiak, who came from San Francisco, he's the new offensive coordinator. You've seen what Bobby Slowick is doing in Houston. He came from San Francisco, okay, from Kyle Shanahan. So maybe he gives some kind of that. I'm not banking on it because I don't think Derek's all that great, to be honest. He's all right. He's all right, but Saints don't have answers right now. Like, they're struggling. And then week 6, they play the 49ers, okay? Yes, I'm terrified for that game. No, I don't have much confidence for my team, but if the 49ers beat the Chiefs in week 6 in San Francisco, like, people will be like, yeah, that's believable. That's something you could see. So you have an opportunity here. You have the Chargers that could be 5-1. You could have the Chiefs be anywhere from, I mean, shoot, they could be 6-0. I get it, but they could also be 3-3. If I told you that the Chiefs were 3-3 after 6 games, like, that would be crazy. But you'd be like, well, they lost to the Ravens. Let's say they beat the Bengals, but dropped one to the Chargers, and then lost to the 49ers. Like, those are in the realm of possibility. And all of a sudden, the Chargers are 5-1, Chiefs are 3-3, and the Chargers have a 2-game lead in the division. Like, I'm just throwing it out there. These scenarios where you could see it happen. Okay, because the Chargers play a last place schedule. These are the teams this is the main difference in their schedules. I'll put it that way. Okay, the Chargers get to play the Patriots, the Titans, and the Cardinals. Okay, so they're playing the AFC East same finisher, the AFC South same finisher, and the NFC West same finisher. Okay, so Patriots, Titans, Cardinals. Like, come on. Unless those teams are taking huge jumps this year, maybe the Cardinals are better, but you get my point. The Chiefs, because they're playing a first place schedule, they get the Bills, the Texans, who everyone is like, that's the sexy pick this year. Them and the Packers, they're like the sexy pick. You're going to see a lot of Texans-Packers Super Bowl predictions, I would imagine, okay? And rightfully so, like C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, they look good, okay? But Bills, Texans, and then the 49ers, okay? Like, that's no joke. And because I just don't think the Chiefs did enough to make themselves better this past offseason, like, I'm just saying, it's there. And guys, the truth is, like the Chiefs, it's going to be crazy to say the Chiefs aren't going to win the division. Every offseason, that's a crazy thing to say until it happens. Until it happens. Like Tom Brady didn't win the division every single year in New England. He did most years. Maybe that's a bad example. He won like 15 out of the 17 years he was there, whatever that number is. But that year going into it, like, I don't know. Crazy. Actually, I think that year, now that I'm thinking about it, was the year he tore his ACL. Maybe that's a terrible example and I just kind of screwed myself, but you get my point. I think that the Chiefs are vulnerable. I think they were vulnerable last year, but the division was so bad. The division was so bad. There was no real competition to challenge them. I don't think they've made a ton of improvements. I think you're going to get a very similar Chiefs team to last year that won the Super Bowl, but they turned it on in the playoffs, guys. You saw that. They turned it on the playoffs. They turned it on the last couple of weeks. You're going to get that same Chiefs team, I think. You're going to see some struggles on offense. Their defense is going to be really stout. But if teams can stop the run with Pacheco and then you have no real super threats at receiver, like, it could be tough for them at times. And I think the Chargers getting that last place schedule, they're going to come in chomping at the bit. Harbaugh teams are not scared of anybody. They're ready to fight everybody. They're going to come in and blow the doors off, okay? I think if the Chiefs win the division, like, of course, that's the more likely thing to happen. I'm just trying to get out ahead of this and see where they're vulnerable. But I would say if I had to put money down, I would bet the Chargers to make the playoffs. That's how good I think they're going to be. Even if the Chiefs go 11-6 and the Chargers go 10-7, fine. In that first year Harbaugh, maybe they drop 7 games, but I think they're getting in the playoffs. That would be my prediction. For sure, I would put money on that. I'm not a gambling man, though, probably because I don't have enough money to gamble. If you guys want to help me out and subscribe and give me some likes on these videos, then I'd probably have more money to gamble. I don't care. I don't know if you're into that. Like, you want to sponsor some gamblers and make them gamble more, but that's an option. That's an opportunity. Also, I didn't even explain my hats. Guys, this is a Whataburger hat. If you don't live in Texas and you don't get to eat Whataburger, that sucks. Actually, Whataburger's a few other places. I know it's in Arizona. There's probably a few other places in the South. I just know it's in Arizona because I lived in Arizona and it was there. Whataburger's great. The hat's a little dirty. I don't know if you can see that on the video. Whataburger's fantastic. If you're coming through Texas, grab a bite. It's worth it. It's worth your time. The service is going to be terrible. Sorry, Whataburger, to put you on blast. Service will be terrible. Some of the worst service in all fast food. I'm talking like, there have been times where I'm waiting in the drive-thru for 30 or 40 minutes. Like, Not saying every time, but that's happened to me once or twice at Whataburger. But then I eat the burger and it like makes me forgive them. Okay, it's fantastic. You're not getting Chick-fil-A service at Whataburger. They don't care that much. Thankfully, the burgers are just so good, it's fine. And then, of course, we got the 49ers hat. Can I say, like, what if I told you guys I just picked up a Whataburger sponsorship? Can Whataburger, like, come after me? Like, would they sue me for, like, lying to everybody and saying they're a sponsor? Maybe that would bring, like, good publicity to the video, to the channel. Anyway, sponsored by Whataburger, guys. Maybe someday. That's all I got for you tonight. Okay, I recorded an interview with my man, the offensive coordinator at Melissa High School, Ryan Hamilton. Hopefully that video is out pretty soon. We're doing a little more editing stuff for that, so it might take a little longer, but that'll be looking for that. And yeah, please like this video, subscribe to the page. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to try to drop a couple videos every week, talking my favorite football stuff. When the season ramps up, like talking about reactions to things and like how I feel about certain teams. I'll probably keep picking division winners now until we get to training camp and more of that comes around. So we got some good stuff, everybody. I appreciate you being here. This is a ton of fun. Please comment and like the page. I've said that a million times, but please do it. You help me out. And what up? I'm going to go play NCAA.